Hi, I'm Cathrine Reynolds. For years, I suffered from an incurable autoimmune disease called interstitial cystitis. And so what would happen is I would have these horrific flare-ups of pain. It felt like I was being electrocuted. I would have diffuse abdominal pain. There would be weeks on end that I would be bed confined from pain. And as a result of this autoimmune disease, I suffered from depression, I had anxiety disorder, I had post-traumatic stress disorder, I had irritable bowel syndrome, I was suicidal, I had all the things. I basically had no quality of life. As a wife and mother, it was horrific because there were days I couldn't hold my baby. Riley was a baby at the time, and I felt like I couldn't be a mother to him, I couldn't be a wife to my husband. At this time in my life too, I did not have the Lord in my life. I was an atheist, and so I just didn't know why I was on this planet. And then a gentleman, I work in interior design, and a contractor came into my office one day, and I had worked on projects with him in the past, and he asked me what was going on. And at the time, I was in the middle of a 5-week flare-up, which I was pretty rock bottom. And I had just seen the top clinician in the country for the disease I was suffering from. And he had just taken away all hope that I had. He told me that I would most likely be on disability for the rest of my life in a few years, and that I'd probably be bed confined. And he said, "Well, what's going on with you?" And I told him, and I was pretty rude to him. And he said, "Well, you can be healed." And he's like, "I'm gonna research this, and I'm gonna come back to you, and you're gonna be healed from this." And I just said, whatever, go away. He came to check on me every now and then, and he never talked to me about Jesus. He never pushed the Lord down my throat or anything. He really, now knowing him and knowing what was going on, he just exuded the love of Jesus to me. And one day he came back to me and he said, I've got the answer. I know the root cause of this disease. And I said, okay, what is it? We'll play, let's play. And he said, the root cause of the disease you have is self-hatred, bitterness, rejection, and unforgiveness. And I said, nope, wrong girl, I got this. Self-made woman, I got this. Well, a few months after that, he came in, again, checking on me periodically, just loving on me, and he kept saying, I'm praying for you. And I said, do whatever you want, whatever. He came in one day and he shared his testimony with me. Well, his testimony changed my life. Based on what he said, it made me question my unbelief. One day I woke up one Sunday morning and I just felt this overwhelming need to go to church, which for me was bizarre because I never had that feeling at all. I got there, I was a little bit late. Lights went up and Pastor Ken got on stage and he said, turn around and greet your neighbor. And right in front of me, Paul and Michelle turned around. And Paul told me about a retreat center that teaches healing through biblical truth. And I knew I was either gonna go to this and it was gonna save my life or I was gonna die. And not to be extreme, but I was there. It's just where I was. I ended up going. It's a week-long intensive study, and I stayed on campus there, and every day, their goal is to reconcile you with your Heavenly Father. I was abandoned by my earthly father, and there's a lot of pain and hurt with that, and a lot of times that separates us from our Heavenly Father. Well, they taught us all about that, taught us about who we are to Him, why He created us, and the healing just comes from that. They tell you don't stop taking your meds. At my worst, I think I was taking 18 different meds every day. Really, I took it moment by moment because I was terrified to be there. I was terrified of what could happen. We get used to our dysfunction, and that becomes very normal to us, and that becomes a safe place, however unhealthy that is. My identity had become rooted in this disease. Gradually, I started to feel better. I'll never forget the first day that I didn't have as much pain. I took 3 Vicodin instead of 4. And it was so scary and weird to me, but I was but every day I thank the Lord for healing me. And it was about 8 months later when I was completely healed. I remember the night I gave my life to the Lord. Jonathan and Riley were playing in the house. They were inside. And I went out to our garage, and I just remember falling on my knees and crying out to the Lord and saying, I can't do this anymore. If you're real, save me, because I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And that's when Before My Life came up. That's when that opportunity came up, and that's when everything started to change. But I thank him every day for healing me, and it's only because of the obedience of Paul and Michelle and their humility in walking alongside of me, and their non-judgment, and their guiding me and leading me, and all of the other ministry leaders at the Harvest too. I mean, they just came alongside of me, and they didn't know the extent of what I was going through like Paul and Michelle did, but they walked lovingly beside of me and encouraged me and walked with me. And I was baptized at the Harvest too, because I just felt like I needed to be. It was my home, and it's why I serve. It's why I do, because God has blessed me so immensely that how could I not give back to his kingdom, and in whatever small way I can. But he truly healed me. I no longer have interstitial cystitis. I no longer have post-traumatic stress disorder. I no longer have anxiety disorder or depression. I no longer have irritable bowel syndrome. He completely healed me. And if I can inspire and encourage or give hope to anyone else that is struggling, then that glorifies him. And ultimately it's for his glory. And that's all I pray I do, is glorify him and share what he's done in my life.